Yo, what's poppin'? Mr. J Hill Podcast. Man, I'm here. This is a special bonus edition episode. Listen, man, I've been getting a lot of money on the show lately, bro. Y'all gotta hit the comments below and say thank you, bro. Y'all gotta say thank you because we been getting to it, man. We been getting to it. You feel me? So this next guest I got, I mean, she not a stranger to the struggle, right? That's what make her story so beautiful. That's what make it so hard, because she like us, you feel me? She like one of us from New Orleans. You get what I'm saying? She from the slums. She was homeless at one point. She had a kid at a very young age, I think like 17.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So like, listen, this is how people's right here. I got Miss Terrica Lynn Smith in the building. I said it right?
You said it right.
Yeah. Listen, man, when I say, it was a short notice, you feel me? But
we here.
We here, one.
We in here.
And two, I was watching a few of your videos before.
Yeah.
Like, so so it was manifestation. We've been talking about that all day, you feel me?
Yeah.
So like, I want to start from the beginning.
Right.
Like, New Orleans.
Right.
Talk to me. Like, how was you a kid? How was growing? I want to paint a picture for people before we get to the money. Before we get there.
So, I mean, just real high level, like, I was a problem child. Like, I started off, I had a very rough childhood, abused. Mother sold me to a drug dealer at 5 years old.
Wow.
And then obviously I became a very rebellious child, and I ended up in foster care right after my grandmother died. And so during my time in foster care, I would fight, I would run away. I don't know, I was a menace, right? And then eventually they tried to lock me away, put me in a mental hospital, say I was crazy. And, truth of the matter is I just was broken. Like, I was hurt. I've been through hell, by this point in my life. And so I kept running away. Well, by the time I turned 16, they had legally emancipated me from the state. So I was an adult at 16 years old.
Wow.
Like, they was like, yo, you grown. Like, I stayed on runaway. And I ended up getting pregnant with my son. Got pregnant at 16, had him at 17. We was homeless, living under a bridge in New Orleans. And I just didn't want to be poor no more. I mean, I wanted to be a better mother to him. I had a horrible mother. I had a horrible upbringing. I would get beat all the time. And so, when I had my son, it was like for me to say, I don't want to be here no more. Like, I want him to have a mother, because I didn't have that. And so that was really the defining moment in my life where I went from being a victim, because I had a right to be a victim up until that point. I was a child, and then I decided that I'm going to be a victor. Like, I'm going to fight for him. Like, I'm going to be this woman, that I felt like I should have had, so.
I want to paint a picture, so follow me. I'm going to go, we're going to be back and forth for a second. So you do real estate, right?
Yes.
How much money, what's the most money you've seen personally?
In real estate?
Yeah, like just in your pockets and your bank account, what's the most money you've seen, you think?
I mean.
You never had nobody ask you that question straightforward like that?
Well, no. I mean, I'll just say my trust is 9 figures.
Damn, I don't even know what that even look like. Yeah. 9 figures. All right, so I say that because I want to talk about the story, but for people that might not, ignorance is bliss, and people have short attention span, right?
Right.
So before we get into the story, I want people to see that, oh, nah, you serious.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, this is not no.
Homeless was my mentor. So I ain't have like a man in my corner or a woman. Like, homelessness, I was like, yo, I don't like this. Like, I don't like being on the street. I don't like smelling funky. I don't like being able to not feed my kid. Like, that was the biggest mentor for me. So, where I'm at today, it took 18 years to get here, but it was 18 consistent years of hard work, like keeping your head down and just pushing and going through the fight and just getting there. And by the time you look up, you got people in your corner that's like, yo, we need you to be able to share what you've done, to the world. So it's not like, oh, we just started this real estate thing. I just started moving courses. Nah, I've been doing this 18 years.
Yeah, I seen a meme. Well, I think I seen a girl talking about this on Twitter, and they was saying like, yo, you don't have to struggle. You don't have to go through hard times to live good. And that's something that they teach us, and that's not true. You don't have to do that. What you think about that?
My children don't know what struggle is. Like, you get what I'm saying? So I think, it's like you're a product of your environment. And so like the environment I grew up in, there was no home ownership. Nobody was owning homes. Nobody was talking about making millions of dollars in a day, in an hour, in a minute, in a second. Like people not having those type of conversations. You know, the conversations that I grew up on was like, who about to go to the corner store? Like that's the kind of conversations I grew up on. Or go get some, you know, let's borrow $5 or whatever the case may be. So, you know, for my children, I made sure that I implemented in them the type of mindset that they need to know that nothing is impossible. You do whatever you want in life. It don't matter where you come from. It don't matter how you got started. None of that matters. Look at me. But my children, they were born, like, I'm not going to say born because I had to work for my son to get up to this point, but they do have a gold spoon in their mouth. Like, you know what I'm saying? So they don't have to get it out the mud like I had to get it out the mud. And I purposely did that. And I'm unapologetic about my children not having to get nothing out the mud. Like, struggle is not cute. Struggle will keep your bloodline in bondage for years and years and years. And so it takes one person such as yourself, Jay, that's up here doing something positive for other people in your family. Be like, yo, we want to rock like he rocking. Like right now, when I look at my family, like no shade to my family, I love them. They probably watching this right now, but I'm the richest in the room.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Talk heavy, yeah.
And so I'm unapologetic about it because my children, now they have options. My son, 19, he like, yo, I don't know what I want to do in life. I'm just going to chill right now. That's his choice. I'm not even mad at him for that. They like, yo, he entitled. Nah, he just got choices. We never had a life of choices, so we don't know what that feels like, so we call it entitlement. You see what I'm saying? But when your children have choices and options in life, it's like, yo, we didn't have that. So we like, oh, they spoiled. They just have options.
And it's different, right? We so used to the struggle, but we it's like we so used to the struggle that it become embedded in our minds so much so that we think that because that's our reality, that it's the reality.
That's right.
If that makes sense.
And we got to stop glorifying the struggle.
So let me ask you this. So being on that, talking about sacrificing, like going through something, right? You said your child has been fed with a gold spoon, right?
Yeah.
But it has to be some correlation to hard work and sacrifice to success, right or no?
So I find, you know, for me, hard work didn't get me to be rich, right? Me absolutely loving what I do kept me going. My passion kept me going. All of that kept me going. Hard work is just a part of the process, you know, for something that you're trying to build. But if my daughter says she want to go live in a third world country and go help kids in Peru like she normally do, what's wrong with that?
I like it. A lot of times I think we do equate hard work with success, and I don't know. I think honestly, as just me matriculating into my career, and the more I learn, I'm learning that it's not really about the hard work. It's about working smart. That's what I think, because you can work your ass into a ditch, into a hole, and into the hospital on a hospital bed.
Yep.
You don't got shit to show for it.
That's right. I know a lot of hard workers that we don't know. That makes sense?
Yeah.
I know a lot of hard workers we don't know.
Damn.
Just remember that.
Sheesh. So how do we work smart if we don't have the funds behind the backers? How do we work smart if we don't have the resources, the
money
community?
is a poor man problem.
Oof, sheesh. Talk to me.
Right? So whenever I'm around my wealthy friends, money is the last objective to any deal being funded. Because we know we can get the money. What we need is the mindset to know what is going to be the exit plan, how we're going to put this together, who's all going to be involved. So when I hear people say they need money, it automatically tells me where they're at mentally, because I used to be there mentally. I used to be that person who say, oh, I don't have this, so I can't do that. But what I realize now is what I know is what gets me in rooms. You see what I'm saying? So like, for instance, you know, we're working on a multi-million-dollar real estate project. I'm not asking where I'm going to get $40 million from. Do I need to get it out my trust? Do I need to, you know, get it from, you know, my partners? Or none. I know we can do $40 million. I'm not worried about that, right? I'm more concerned about the business structure and the opportunity that's going to come from it and how we're going to line it up. So you don't need money to make money. You don't. Like, a lot of people like, oh, you need money. No, you really don't. You really don't. Let me ask you a question.
Talk to me.
You have $10,000?
I do.
Okay, perfect. And I told you, I said, hey, Jay, I got this opportunity down in Louisiana. I just need $10,000 to get in on it. It's a good real estate deal. We're going to make about $40,000. Would you come in with me on that?
Yeah, I would.
But I ain't put up no money. I said, do you got $10,000?
Facts.
You see what I'm saying?
You can't be asking me this on camera either, man. Because I told you that our audience is way different. Like, you got to be careful. We got to tread lightly. But, yeah, I'm with you.
But we want them to know that money should not be a problem. Because a lot of people sit at home in the same situation because they think they need money. But money kept me in bondage, though, just to keep you, just to be honest with you, right? Me believing that I needed a certain amount of money, I think helped me back so much further. Because now that I'm on the other side of it, I know money still can get me in certain rooms. Relationships get you in certain rooms, knowing the right people. And by knowing the right people, for instance, like me and my brother pulled up here, right here in the Lamborghini, and you made a statement about the car, right? But in my mind, I know that there's a membership club for Lamborghinis. Well, if that club, right, all have Lamborghinis, they gotta have some type of income, right? Mm-hmm. But guess what happened? You just created access for yourself. You see what I'm saying? And so I just believe there's certain access that can be given that money just cannot buy. I'm sitting here because of access, right?
No, for sure.
And because I have knowledge, because they know I have knowledge, they like, yo, let's put that knowledge out there. My money didn't get me in this room. It probably could have never got me in this room.
No, that's a fact.
But I don't want people to be like how I was, sitting at home trying to be stressed out about finances, because you can't struggle and dream at the same time.
You can't struggle and dream at the same time.
You can't.
Why can't you?
You can't. Because when you're in the middle of a struggle, that's all your mind is focused on. All you think about is, I got to do this, I got to do that. What's the next play? What's this? But when you dreaming and you like, yo, we about to go and do this, that's a happy feeling. Struggling is not a happy feeling. It's a down feeling. So you're not going to be able to do both at the same time. You're going to have to pick a side. So what I want people to understand is that in order for you to be able to thrive and dream, you have to get out of the struggle. And the struggle is holding you bondage because you think you need a piece of paper to get you there. But if you have a gift or something very creative that can help other people, you have access to capital you don't even know about.
All right, so first of all, this is going to be fire. Like, this is going to be fire. This is already fire. It's crazy. So I feel like some could say, right? Because I'm in the middle. Some could say that it's easy to say that you have hindsight bias. It's easy to say that now that you got millions and you making all this money. But you had to go through that struggle. It had to be something in your heart to get you through that, for you to then be able to understand, oh, this was wrong, or this went that way. That didn't just come in the middle of you struggling. Like, you didn't just wake up and be in your struggle, say, man, I can't struggle and dream at the same time. No.
Right. So my son, for me, was my dream. I wanted to be a better mother for him. So everything I did from that moment forward, as long as I had air in my lungs, that boy wasn't going to experience poverty again. So for him not to experience poverty again, I had to do something different and get out that struggle. If I would have stayed a victim, I would have raised a victimized child. My son would have been a victim of whatever circumstances that I placed upon him. So I did have to, at that moment, say, I need to fight. I have to fight or I have to retreat. What I'm going to do? What I'm going to do?
We ain't backing down from
I can't.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? That boy's all I got. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So I'm going to fight for him as hard as I can, as much as I can, with everything I have within me. I'm going to fight. He going to know what it's like not to have to struggle. And that's what kept me moving.
I think it's E.T. said, what'd he say? When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, right? I think that probably was the moment that you wanted to succeed, at least for your son, right? More than you wanted anything in life.
That's absolutely right.
And sometimes people just don't have that.
Right. Right.
So how do you find it if you don't have it?
So it's a lot of people I know still that don't really have that right now. Like, that makes sense. And so how do you find it? I think what happens is I told this to one of my friends. I said, you're not hurting enough to get out of your struggle. Because when something hurts you enough, when it hurts and you can't take it no more, you like, yo, I got to get from out of here.
Facts.
But when you comfortable and everybody around you is comfortable and y'all all doing the exact same thing, it don't hurt. But it hurt me to remain where I was. Like, it hurted me to look around and see all these homeless people, you know, with all these, these clothes for days at a time. And, you know, I'm sitting there and I'm like, it hurted me. Looking at my son like that hurted me, to be that woman who had her baby sleeping under a bridge. That hurted me. So how could I remain there with him knowing that it hurts that bad? Some people just not hurting enough.
This is going to be ignorant, but this I just got to say this because it's funny. You know what I love about, just like way beyond this conversation, but about people like you, myself, it seems so reachable, right? And something so small as when you say it hurted me, right? Like, I think it's supposed to be it hurt me, right? Like, but the fact that you say that shows that, like, bro, we ain't no more better than nobody else. I probably said that no more better.
Let me tell you something.
Y'all get my point.
Yeah, I still use my ABCs, okay? Like, I ain't that deep. I tell people all the time, stop using big words around me. Keep it simple. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't got time. I be in a business meeting, you know, somebody was telling me something about arbitrage. I'm like, what the hell is that? Tell me, just speak normal to me, right? You know what I'm saying? Oh, you mean like a renter owner or something? Yeah, oh, okay. Well, just say that. Like, just keep it simple for me. Like, we don't have to be that deep. And I think a lot of the times we get inside of our heads thinking, you know, we got to be these people that we not. I show up as me. I'm in a hoodie. I'm in some leggings. I'm just going to be Terrica Lynn Smith, you know, and I find I'm comfortable in that. And I think as long as we remain true to who we are, Jay, we're not going to get caught up in, you know what I'm saying, the hoorah. There can be a lot of things going on, but if you're not comfortable with yourself, you're going to move. But when you're comfortable, you demand
I feel
that.
good here.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? Like, can't nobody change you or shake you or move you. And that's how it is for me. You know, so I don't know. I
wish people, it's like we need to see this, but somewhere in my heart, I'm going to just keep it 100. I just feel like because this isn't what's popular, this interview gonna just fall to, like, I don't want to say fall to wasted ground, but it's like these are the conversations that need to go viral, but they don't.
Right.
Why not? Like, these are this is what we need. This is what need to be plaguing the internet and social media and Black Twitter and things like that. But why don't these conversations go viral so much? I'm just curious. Do you know?
No, I don't. I'm not like a social media guru or anything like that. But what I can say is my job is simply, if it changes one person, then I've done my job.
Okay. All right. We fast forward so much. Let's reel it in. All right. So, one of the first things you said that was interesting to me was I think you said I was a problem child or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But isn't that crazy? Because that's something that I feel like they give us. That's a title that they give us. Like, we don't walk around saying I'm a problem. Like, we have to learn that almost.
I wanted to be a problem. I wanted to piss people off. I wanted people to feel my pain. Like, I was raped at 5 years old. I wanted everybody to hurt. I wanted everybody to feel everything I went through. So I purposely tormented people in their lives. I gave people hell as a child because I went through hell. And so for me, because I didn't know what love was, I didn't know how to experience that, I gave exactly what was given to me. I would set your closet on fire. You know what I'm saying? You wake up, you got a knife to your throat. You know, foster parents I went through foster home after foster home after foster home. Nobody wanted me. You know what I'm saying? And I knew if I was to just do one thing, they would throw me away. So I went on ahead and did the job for them. Put a knife to their neck so they can get me away.
Damn. So in the midst of all of that, that's a lot. Like, that's a lot to process. How can you even accept love?
It was hard. Like, it was so hard. I just was telling somebody, like, you know, my husband is such an amazing man. I'm so grateful for him. He came in my life at 19 years old. By the time I had my second daughter, he came into my life. And I did not know how to love him. You know what I'm saying? But he loved me beyond the scars. He loved me through all the hurt, all the nights that I would stay up and cry, all the nights I would reach for the doorknob, because when I got raped as a little girl on the bathroom floor, I was reaching for the doorknob. And so I had trauma, so I would sleep like that. I didn't know how to love a man. I didn't know how to trust a man, and he just loved me through all of that. He loved me before we had, $1,000 in the bank. You get what I'm saying? And so it took for him to consistently do it, because I did things to him to say, oh, he's going to leave me too. That's that abandonment issue, foster children deal with. And so I did everything I possibly could, for him to have a reason to say, you know what, F this female, she crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? But he didn't do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I think I ain't going to say it's a New Orleans thing, but I believe God gave me a New Orleans man for a reason. You know what I'm saying? He pretty strong.
Bro, this is insane. Do you know how, like, powerful your story is? Do you understand it?
It's my testimony. I just, it took me years, Jay, to get through it. I couldn't, in 2018, I couldn't talk about my life to nobody. Right? E helped me get through that. E.T. Shout out to you. I love you, E.
Wait, you like watching him, or like this is like a personal relationship?
No, it's a personal relationship.
You see how crazy this is? Like, I'm talking about E.T. like some shit I saw on Instagram, and he helped me get through it. Like,
no, shout out to him. Shout out to the ETA family.
Text him and say I want to do an interview, but that's sidebar, whatever. But go ahead.
Like it's just it took me a minute to get through that story. Like it took me a minute to love like who I really was, because you know what happened, Jay? Although like I was married and I was having more children, I still had all of that pain. Like I didn't get through my story. And in 2018, I was taking so many pills because I was at the peak of my career, making so much money, hand over fist, but I'm still unhappy. I got a man that loves me unconditionally. My children thinks I'm just the queen of the universe, and I'm miserable. I'm miserable on the inside. I'm screaming, and can't nobody hear me screaming, And I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. I go to church on Sundays. I serve. I be a good wife. I don't cheat on my husband. I'm there for my children. I'm top real estate bro. Like I'm doing everything right, but I'm suffocating. And in 2018 is when I wrote my book and I released it. And that was the first time in my life I took a sabbatical. Because you remember I said when it hurts you enough, you're going to do something.
For sure.
Right? And it was hurting me. It was hurting me to the point where I became suicidal to say, I don't even want to be here no more. I don't care how much money we have in the bank. If I was to die today, my family would be good. It got to the point where I needed to find Terrica. You know what I'm saying? So, going through that mental battle and trying to find who I was, because I couldn't identify who I was. But that's because my identity was stolen from me. They took it from me at 5 years old. So I had to fight to find me back. I had to fight to get up. I had to fight. Even with wealth, I still had to fight because it hurted. And, I remember my daughter looking at me and she said, you didn't teach us how to give up. Like, you didn't teach us how to give up. And that was the moment I booked a trip to New York. Eden was in New York. I didn't even know him at the time. I went to a conference called Ignite. Inky was speaking, EC, all of them. And that was like, at that moment, they got me on camera. I'm on the front row, VIP, best seat in the house. I'm crying, snot, boogers, and tears. Because he said, there's some of you in this room that's so successful. This is what he said. There's some of you in the room right now that's so successful, but you can't even enjoy the fruits of what God has given you because you haven't dealt with what you've been through as a child. And I knew that was for me. Who else was he talking to? Right? So later, I went through the program or whatever, and, shout out to Valari. She's in the program as well. She was like, why are you so angry? And I'm like, I'm not angry. When I negotiated real estate, I'm like, I'm not angry. I'm smiling. Like,
that's how we all be. I'm not angry. Yeah. I'm smiling.
Yeah, I'm smiling right now, And she said, no, look at you. Like, look at you. And on a call, on a Game Changer call, I remember breaking down in front of a group of strangers on Zoom, sharing my story for the first time with people. And then that's whenever I started the healing process. I got help. You know, and I just started healing.
Yo, these are the conversations that I live for.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie. This is fire. Like this is way better than any amount of money. Like this right here, because it shows people that damn, I'm going through the same thing, or I was at that same space. I can get it too.
Yeah.
What's the point of getting the money if you can't help somebody else get it, right?
Right.
And even if you don't give somebody anything in the world, just your story and you sharing that, bro, like that is so important. That's the purpose of like this platform.
Yes.
And like the fact that you have a real story to come to the thing, like, damn. That's, so let me ask you this. I need some game. Do you mentor people at all?
Yeah, so actually we do what's called a property challenge. You got to spend 5 days with me. And in those 5 days, you have to work. Like, it ain't no shortcuts. What's funny is a lot of people do challenges and different things like that, but I actually vet everybody that's going to come sit at the table with me, because I know when you come sit at the table with me, we're going to break bread together. But if you can't even commit for 5 days to yourself, you can't be around me.
Okay, I think you answered my question. So I was going to ask, like, you said you already vet them. Like, I feel like sometimes I find mentoring people hard because if they don't have the same drive as I have, especially with me coming through so much. So for me, it's no excuses because
That's right.
bro, I was at the bottom. Like, I lived it. Like, it ain't no fairy tale people to be making stuff up. Like, this is real.
Right.
Right? So it's like, when you're making all these excuses, for me, it's hard for me to teach somebody when they come with so many excuses. I'm so dismissive. It's like, okay, if that's what you want to do, you back to the wolves, right?
That's right.
So I guess you don't deal with that because you vet them.
Yeah, and I only tell you twice. I only give advice twice.
Okay.
That's it. That's my rule. Even with my children, I just told my son, I gave it to you twice. You don't get it no more. Because your mind is already made up for what you're going to do. You see, when you tell me something, if you tell me how to go catch a fish, I'm gonna go catch that fish.
Fact.
But if I tell you how to go catch a fish, but you tell me, but why would I use this hook, or why would I use this, or why would I do that, or why would I do this, and you never go and try to catch a fish, I'm gonna go tell you, look, I need you to go catch a fish with this pole. Then you come back and you still have more, and I'm like, all right, I'm done. You're not hungry. Because I'm telling you now, if you was hungry, you would have went and took a stick, shoved it in the water, got a fish, and came back and said, okay, what's next? That's the kind of people I like.
Right.
You know.
Okay. Yeah, I it's like I said, it's just hard for me. And I'm just learning because, like, it's hard for me to deal with certain people and people be like, you got to be patient, you got to do this, and I think I heard a conversation with actually Shan's was saying, like, when you bring successful people into something that's broken, then it doesn't really set them up to succeed.
Yeah.
So I guess
so
a part of that is the system got to be in place to work, though, I guess.
That's right. Yeah, you got to have a system that works, but you also got to have people that work. You know, Nehemiah put a post, he said, I'm not working with nobody average this year. Like, they got to be, they have to work how I work.
And you know what's dope about that, though? Like you said, right? That don't got nothing to do with money.
No.
Like, so, like, the first thing you said, my first thought that came in my mind, like, oh, yeah, I'm one of them. Like, that don't got nothing to do with money.
Nothing at all.
Damn. Okay. We got the story. Oh, man. At what point, you had your child at 17, you got pregnant at 16. How were you able to get your first dollar? Because, again, I know at that moment, you haven't arrived where you are right now.
You remember you said creative?
Yeah.
Perfect, right? So I remember I had enough tokens for a payphone.
Okay.
Y'all remember that? Y'all young.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
She sound like me. Come on, man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I remember having a thrifty paper, and I was calling phone numbers in the newspaper. Jay, I didn't have no money, just to be honest. I had none. So when I call, I would say, you know, hey, I'm Terrica. Is this apartment still available for rent? Yes, it is. It's $400 a month. Okay. I don't have $400, but I do get my food stamps on this day. I'll give you my whole card if you just give me a place to stay. It hurted. It hurted bad enough. So I was willing to do whatever I needed to. I knew I can find food, right? I knew I can find food. There was one man that said, we're not going to take your food stamps. We're going to give you a place to stay. But because it hurt it, and because I made the phone calls, and I didn't have no money. That's why I can tell people, they be like, oh, you got money. You don't know what it's like. Nah, I know what it's like not to have. I know what it's like not to have. I know what it's like to operate without anything. I know what it's like to keep going with a negative bank account. I know what it's like to keep going when everybody around you got all this fancy lifestyle, and you sitting up here, you trying to make ends meet.
And
you get what I'm saying?
it's
like, I
something
get that.
about that ingenuity, right? Like, because we talking about creativity, being able to use what you got, because it's so many people with money that don't have ingenuity because they associate their money with solving every problem that they have.
Yeah.
So they don't even know how to think outside the box, because, like, I got money, I can pay for that. My money can pay for that.
Yeah.
And then when it don't work, it's like, why don't it work?
That's right.
But when you struggling,
that's right.
Oh, you gonna make something happen.
Oh, when you
nothing.
bootstrap things, you understand the difference of it. It's a lot more value in it. Like, you know what I'm saying? If somebody just gave you $100,000 and said, start a podcast, it's not going to bother you as much if your podcast don't work versus you having to come up with that $100,000 and make sure that you show up every single day and do your recordings and make sure the content get out. And it's a different type of feeling. You see what I'm saying? So for me, I think that that's what we have to remember is that, you know, and I tell people, you doggone right, I'm happy I'm not poor no more. Who the heck want to remain there? It was never no fun for me being poor. I don't care what nobody say. I never say, you remember the good old days when we were poor? I ain't never said that in my life.
I don't think I've heard nobody say that.
Nah, I never heard nobody say that, right? I never heard nobody say I enjoyed the struggle. You know what I'm saying? I heard people say the struggle made me who I am, and that part I can understand and agree with. But I ain't never met nobody who said they enjoyed the struggle.
I heard people say it's beauty in the struggle. Like, it's beauty in it. Yeah. It's not beautiful.
Yeah,
like,
you know what I'm
saying? So, okay, so boom, ingenuity. We going to payphone for the people that don't remember payphones or whatever, right? She got the paper with the list of apartments, $400.
The thrifty ad. I don't know what y'all call it in y'all area.
Okay, yeah, I don't remember that. I remember the yellow books though, the yellow pages.
Well, no, this was like the newspaper with all classifieds in there.
Okay, so I think we had yellow pages where it was like all. See, I'm showing my age now. You remember Yellow Pages?
I remember Yellow Pages, Yellow Pages. But no, this is aside from a telephone book because landlords don't advertise in telephone books. They advertise in newspapers.
Okay.
So this is the classified section of the newspaper.
Okay, so she got the newspaper.
Yeah.
Looking through. Somebody, is this the first, not the first person, but like the first time you get the crib, somebody say,
I was on my last quarter.
Okay.
I was on my last quarter. It got to work or I have to work.
Right, facts.
You know what I'm saying? What's the worst that's going to happen? I'm going to still be here under the bridge.
Facts.
It ain't like I didn't try.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's a difference if I never picked up the phone and tried. You know what I'm saying? But I believe God had angels along me every step of the way because that landlord was an angel. You know what I'm saying? Even when I got sexually abused and, you know, I went to a place called Terrica. It's in my book or whatever, but to me, that's a guardian angel to take me away from that pain, you know. And there's so many guardian angels that I meet along the way that people don't even know about. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like David, my brother, to me, he's like a guardian angel to me because I never would be sitting here talking to you on the podcast. I still be doing real estate, doing very, very well. But because he's a guardian angel to me, he has placed me before the people to say, hey, y'all need to hear what she have to say.
Isn't it so important to just be a good person though?
Yes.
Because I feel like that, like you calling, them blessing, all that comes from your heart though.
That's right.
Like people can sleep on that all they want. I don't give a damn. I'm sorry.
Right. That's right.
Yo, you don't get things like that when you just was a good person. People be surprised the blessings you get just by being a good person.
That's right.
That's.
Yeah. So they got a saying too, you know, yes, to be a good person, but also to be a mover. So, like, if you see somebody standing outside their car holding their thumb, you're just probably going to pass them by, right, Jay? Mm-hmm. But if you see somebody trying to push their car, you're probably going to get out and want to help them push.
No, facts.
It's just a different type of process.
This is hard. Yeah. I hope y'all listening, man. All right, so cool. They give you the opportunity to get the crib for free.
Yeah.
How do you then go from there? Now you on your knees, right? You was on your, you was crawling at first, right? You get the crib opportunity. Now you on your knees. I mean, you was on your ass. Then you start crawling, you get the crib, right? How you go from being from crawling to standing up on your knees before you even start walking, right? Like before you even get into the real estate, how did it go from the crib to your first couple dollars because you was on your last quarter?
Yeah. So after I ended up getting an apartment, shortly afterwards, Hurricane Katrina happened. Damn. So I still was like, I was on government assistance, welfare, food stamps, child care, Medicaid. I had it all. Like, you know what I'm saying? In fact, at that point, I felt like I was really living a good life because by this point, they have helped me with rental assistance. But when Hurricane Katrina came, that was the moment where I was like, yo, like, our mayor, they done flew out. Like, you know what I'm saying? We in this city by ourselves. They talking about the floodgates done broke and everybody about to drown. I'm like, I want to get out of here. I'm not ready to die, and making it through Hurricane Katrina and ending up in a city called Lafayette, Louisiana was where I really got my first start. And that's why I went to real estate school. I had no money. I sold my food stamps to pay for the real estate exam. Like, I just didn't have no money. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I just kept on working. I just kept being persistent. I kept on showing up. I kept on doing. And then it eventually happened. That's why I said you don't need the money. You just need to be around the right people. One, connections is very important, but you also just got to have that drive to keep on pushing even when you don't have it.
I just want people to hear you like I'm hearing you because I get it. I thank God every day for willpower.
Yeah.
For just to have the willpower to continue when I don't want to.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's so important, man.
That's
all right,
important.
cool. So you go to real estate school. You pass the exam.
After 7 times.
Okay. So it's more struggle.
So y'all know that's $700 in my yams. Okay. The people that really understand what yams is, that's the food stamp. So that's $700. That's a lot of money for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you understand that?
Yeah, you had to at least been. If it's still how it is, like you would at least had to sold at least 1,400.
Thank you.
Food stamp.
Okay.
Come on, man.
You know what I'm saying? Okay,
on,
you understand. You understand the math. Okay, so at the end of the day, that was a very expensive test, but I end up passing it. My first year in real estate, I made $5,000. I thought I was about to be rich.
How you make $5,000?
Dude, first of all, that's horrible in real estate.
All right, I mean. To you now, you know what I'm saying? But to somebody that just came on.
During that time, it was horrible for me with nothing, okay? I was like, I could work at McDonald's and made more money than this. This less than minimum wage.
Okay.
But I sold a property, and I made, commission. So the very next year, though, I was like, I got to change. Everybody's focused on buyers and sellers and all of this. I got to find my niche. So I started working with investors only. And so one rich person knows another rich person that knows another rich person. It's the same with poor people. Poor people know poor people that know poor people. You know what I'm saying? Rich people know rich people. So I found if I can find one rich guy, he's going to know somebody else. And I just got to do right, and that's what I did.
I got to keep emphasizing. Y'all got to listen to what she's saying. Because, like, you're right. It's all about the community, though, right? Like, even with that, I use that in my interview. I apply that in my interview space, right? If I interview one person that's lit, they know somebody else that's lit. They know somebody else that's lit. All right, bet. Now it's like, as long as the interview good, they like it, I make them sound good, they look good. Yo, can you pass me to this person?
Yep.
They want to look and sound good, too.
Yep, that's right.
Same exact process. Okay, so I'm a cheater now. I think David asked you the same question. Now I'm going to ask you. When you hear investor, what do you hear from that? Like, what does that mean?
Buying income.
Buying income.
Yeah, my answer ain't gonna never change to that. Any investor I know is buying income. When you invested into this, what did you invest for? To make money. Let's just be honest. You're gonna make money. You're gonna get your podcast out. You're gonna get it in front of people, but you ain't doing it for free. This is not a nonprofit.
For sure. I mean, it ain't start like that.
So right.
I start with my purpose, honestly.
Right, but your purpose didn't yield a return.
It did, and then once I started understanding. I'm a little different. I was retarded. I'm not going to lie. I'm just being straight up with you. Yeah. I like doing it. I enjoyed it. I love people hearing the story. I thought just being honest, transparent. With me, I grew up understanding that I thought I wanted to be famous because they didn't teach us back in my day. Like when I was a kid, they didn't teach us about the people making the money. They taught us the person that's hosting the show.
Yeah.
And then I learned that this person is just a fucking flunky. Like, he's just a puppet, right? So I wanted to show people that if I get lit, I wanted to infiltrate the space. I wanted to get lit and be the one to telling them, like, yo, this ain't what you want. So whatever.
Yeah.
But that's just a little different.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anybody I know who calls themselves an investor is buying income. You know, and I would encourage you as an investor, whatever it is you're looking for a return on that investment.
So where do we go wrong? And I'm going to say, because a lot of creators watching this, we hear investor be like, I just need an investor. Like, how can I get an investor? Like, how would one go to look for an investor, right? Not being an investor, but seeking out for one.
Investors like proposals. They like to see how they're going to make money on the money they put out. They want to put their children out there, which is their money, and they want them to come back with a whole lot of friends. If you can show how you can bring a whole lot of friends to the house and have a house party, it's going to be investable.
How do I show that if I'm not even making the bread from what I'm doing right now?
You have to be honest and show what you have and show what the projections are.
Okay.
I mean, you're not reinventing the wheel. If you remain consistent, you get sponsors, you do whatever, you put together that package, I'm sure it can be pretty profitable for an investor to look at.
Okay. Just curious. All right, bet. I told him you asking a lot of questions for me,
No,
too.
that's good.
So, all right,
No, that's good.
we do the real estate thing. Now you you found your niche. You start making money, right? What was the thing that was the most beneficial to you in the first thing you started to do that was making a lot of money, then a lot of money?
I don't understand the question. Ask me
What
again.
was the first thing you started to do that started to make you a lot of money and you kept doing it? Like you said, your niche was finding people. Investors.
Yeah. So that's
you found the first investor.
Yeah.
What was it?
Flips really like receiving large sums of money, $30,000, $40,000 from a deal at a time, that was good. And then, wholesaling came where I made $100,000 in a deal. And then, we started making millions in deals, by buying an apartment complex that can be Class D, bringing it up to Class B or C, and then turning around and selling it. You get what I'm saying? So it's, it's just the cycle of real estate.
But you got to find that person that's going to buy it, right? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, but there's a lot of buyers. There's a lot of buyers that buys income.
Okay, cool. So let's say you got somebody that came $10,000, right? Man, I don't want to go to real estate school. I'm just trying to put my money in something and get a quick flip. It don't even have to be a lot, but just something that make me more than what I brought to the table. What would you suggest?
$10,000 down in real estate, probably get you $50,000 in real estate money, because the bank could give you 80%. So probably find you a rental property, invest into a rental property, and use the $10,000 as a down payment.
So you would have to have good credit, though, right? I'm assuming because you got to go to the bank.
Yeah, so I mean, depend on what you consider good credit, right? There's hard money lenders, there's private lenders, there's banks. There's more than just the old traditional banks, right? But if you had, what's 20% of $50,000?
Wow, come on, man, don't do that.
It's 10,000. It's like 10,000. So if you had that 10,000, let's just say your credit score is 620, you can go to a private lender and they can loan you the money on it.
Okay, so what would be your suggestion? If somebody just
buy a rental property and allow that money to make you money allow that property to make you money every single month. I mean, $10,000 is not a whole lot in real estate, but it is a door. You know what I'm saying? It may not be like $1,000 in passive income. It may be like $400 in passive income. But imagine that $400 over 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just continue. And then imagine having 3 of those $400.
Now we talking.
You see what I'm saying? And then imagine you keep on adding every single year.
So one would say that rental properties is a hassle. It's a lot. You got to deal with people.
Well, because they became an employee. I mean, I have quite a substantial portfolio, but I have a very large property management division. So I don't think it's a hassle. It's a hassle probably for the people that work for me, but that's what they paid for.
Damn. Okay, this is a game. We're getting somewhere. So people say, like, if you can get 10, you can get 20, right? What would be the ideal number that you should work to get?
I can't say what somebody else's financial situation is, but I know for me, I'm going to 1,000. So I want to hit 1,000. And I want to do 1,000 without these large groups. Like there's a lot of large groups that, go and get 4,000, 5,000 doors. But it's just such a tiny piece of the pie. I want to have majority of the pie with the with the 1,000 doors that I'm looking at. But I think it's based upon that person, how much income they're looking to replace. If they only make $3,000 a month, well, that's probably like 10 properties, if that. So you get 10 doors, you replace that $3,000. Now the money you go to your job for, you can take that and go and invest it into some other properties.
Damn, I'm trying to catch up. All right, okay.
Passive money is different. It's much sweeter. Like, what we're doing now is very active. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's based off of our performance. It's based upon our ability to open up our mouth and words are going to come out and people are going to engage. Right? The bulk of my money come from people needing a roof over their head. I don't even got to speak. You see what I'm saying? So, David said it best, right? He wants to, have a portfolio where it's not based upon popularity. Like if he get canceled, like people get canceled in this era, he still want to have income to fall back on.
Right.
Nehemiah the same, It's just what it is.
That's what I'm trying to figure. I'm trying to figure out what's the smartest way to put something in and get the most return from it. And you would pretty much say real estate in the rental property.
I would say any form of real estate investing in, buy and hold. Yes, absolutely. But if you want to do a flip and you have a partner that's going to do all the heavy work, then do that. There's not a lot of properties you can flip at $50,000 and make $150,000. You know what I'm saying? But there are a lot of rental properties you can start off buying small and then building up your portfolio small. I did it with one property. Like a lot of people like, yo, I got 10 doors at one time. I started with one little Huckleberry. I still got that Huckleberry. It still run me $550 every single month. It has been for years. I love it. The tenants are great,
So let's go. Let's rewind then. So you said it's not hard for you because you got people in place to do the work, right? I'm assuming you didn't have them at first though, right? Or
no. So what happens is this: everybody who I have now, you can hire. Those are real careers for people, right? The maintenance man is a real career. The property manager is a real career. Realtors finding your projects for you is a real career. Project management, not property manager, but project management to manage the construction of the property. That's an actual job. So you can bring all of those people, create your team and have them do all the work. And you just put in the money and you show up and you take pictures and say, yo, this is what I'm doing today.
But how much money is that? I'm just curious.
Well, it just depends. Like, I don't want to just rump off some numbers. But
well, let's say you said that somebody $10,000, right? You started $10,000, I got a $50,000 loan, right? So the $50,000 went straight to the crib. You still need the money to pay these people, right? Or should you work first?
No. So what happens is you're gonna find a property. Total, your loan amount would be $50,000. Let's say the property you find is $25,000. It leaves you with $25,000 to play with. That makes sense? So with that $25,000, you got renovations, and the renovations include the subs and all of their fees and all of that type of stuff. So collectively, in that whole $50,000, you're going to try to make that number work as a whole. So when you walk away, it's a $50,000 nutshell.
That's what the people that's in place and everything.
That's everything.
This is hard. I hope people like writing down notes. Yeah. Like, this is hard. Okay. I like this. All right. So what is it that, now that you're here, right? I think I spoke to you earlier and you like, you don't do flips no more.
I try. So I'll help a friend or two out at time.
Okay. So what is it that you do now that's your special? Is it still the big investors and things like that? How does somebody get into your mentorship program or like get connected with you to get this knowledge? Because you don't deal with the small people no more.
I do deal with the small people. I deal with everybody. I'm a small person. Look at me.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
I do. So thepropertychallenge.com, right? On all my social media platforms, that's really the number one way that I coach and I mentor is through the property challenge. But I would say that, what I do now is I develop communities. Like I put my son name on a street sign. So like I'm very active with building neighborhoods and communities and things like that. So, my level of expertise is going to be a lot different than a beginner's level of expertise, but I can take you from that beginner's level and get you to the developer level of eventually where I think everybody should be at.
Sheesh, this is crazy. Damn. Okay. Is there anything it wasn't any missed opportunities? Is there anything that I did not ask that I should have asked?
You asked some great questions.
Thank you.
You did an amazing job. I'm impressed. No, I think we answered and covered everything. Like it's been fun. Like I was nervous at first. This was good.
No, I appreciate it, but how can I provide more value to somebody that just don't have a lot though? Like these are like your story is super dope, you know what I'm saying? Like starting people off, but how can we provide some value to somebody that don't have, that's just watching and they really don't have it and they haven't arrived at, money not meaning everything. You know what I'm saying? Everything we talked about.
Well, then they have to start at the mindset, right? And I would say, start reading.
What should they read?
So, Rich Dad Poor Dad is a great book. The Millionaire Next Door is another great book.
This is crazy.
Typhoons is another great book. There's so many great books out there. The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone is a great book.
I heard of that.
There's so many great books.
Oh man, I'm looking for this. I'm looking for something. I want to show you.
Never Eat Alone. It's a great book.
What about a book called Profit First?
Yeah, I never heard of it.
Never heard of it? Okay. We talking books. I literally just screenshotted the book like today.
Really?
Yeah. So,
yeah.
So you said reading.
Yes, reading is a big part. Like I was self-educated. So nobody taught me anything. Like I had to go and self-educate myself. Like real estate school taught me law, but like, what I understand about money, how it works, and, how to generate it, I had to go and read and learn. And Rich Dad Poor Dad was really a big book for me.
Okay, so I'm just trying to put myself in someone else's place. I know it's easy to say excuses, right? But let's just think like your average person. Man, read, man, I don't got time to read. Like, bro, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to work. I don't got time to read.
That's a broken mindset. That's a broken mindset.
So there's no easy way to it, basically.
No, there's no shortcuts. Like everybody got to stop trying to press the button on the elevator, and sometimes you got to take the stairs.
Yeah.
And for me, I took the stairs. I didn't know what I didn't know, but I learned and I asked a lot of questions. And then me reading started putting me in rooms with other like-minded people. Then they started talking. Then I started listening some more. Then they started doing something. Then I was like, yo, I can do that too. So when somebody tell me they can't read or they don't have the time to read, well, it's because you're not making the time to read.
That's a fact. A little bit more ingenuity, right? I'm going to help you out too. Don't allow people to... You want to have your own process, right? And you got to embrace that. And I say that to say, like, sometimes you might have to pick up an audiobook. But I know when I first picked up...
I love audiobooks.
Yeah, I just know when I first picked up my audiobook, you have certain people chattering saying, that ain't reading, you ain't doing this. But, like, you got to get the knowledge however you can get the knowledge.
I love audiobooks. I don't see nothing wrong with audiobooks.
Right, so I'm just letting to the person that might be lazy or don't want to read. If
That's
you listen
not
to
lazy,
this,
though.
yeah, I say if you listen to this,
Yeah.
you can listen to an audiobook.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that's one way.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. If you have time to listen to a podcast, you have time to read, like listen to a book.
Nah, facts.
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you have any survivor's remorse at all? Or nah, you off that?
When you say survivor's remorse, break it down for me.
Like, you made it out the struggle, right? It's probably a lot of friends, a lot of associates, a lot of people you know who don't have the mindset as you and that's never probably going to have the mindset as you. Do you ever think like, kind of like an empath, like, damn, like, I wish I could help everybody? Or do you just understand that certain people going to get it and certain people not going to get it? And I can Google the exact definition.
Everybody is a very broad term. I I would like to help as many people as I can. I don't think I've ever wanted to be like, I'm going to touch every single billion people in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So I would say for me, I don't have survivor's remorse. I would never apologize.
It isn't actually survivor's guilt. My bad.
Okay, survivor's guilt is a response to an event in which someone else experienced loss, but you did not. I experienced a lot of loss. While the name implies this to be a response to the loss of life, it could also be the loss of property, health, identity, or... So I went through this mentally, like I said, whenever I was trying to find my identity, right? Not I wouldn't even say survivor's guilt for anybody else. It was me not just knowing who I was, and I couldn't find myself. Like I couldn't identify who I was, but I never ever stopped at the people who threw rocks at me along the way. So, and those, I think Jay-Z said it best, right? Money can change people with bad motives or whatever, but honestly, money changes the people around you, how they treat you, and so I found that people treat me way different than how I would even treat them. I'm still the same me. I just don't do the same things that they do. So I don't have any remorse of, leaving anyone behind. And, I still see people who we all started at the same line and they still at the line and I done ran 10 miles. I don't feel no type of way.
Damn, man. Because I'm not going to lie. Because even talking about helping people, it's a part of me that's like, even if you don't, like, it's like, even if you're the most lazy person in the world, I still want to be able to help you. But it's like, you can't, right?
You can't.
But I'll be lying to say, like, because I'm like, how do we help these people? There's some people out there who are really struggling.
I think people be lying, though. I think they be lying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to help nobody lazy. I don't care what nobody say about me. I'm not trying to help nobody lazy because I'm fighting with laziness. That's a spirit. Like, I'm not about to fight with your lazy spirit. And then it's going to take it's going to be you or me. It's either I'm going to conform or you going to conform, right? And I don't want to get caught in that spirit. So I'm not about to sit here and just tackle in it. That's why I said you have to have some type of expectancy when you come to somebody asking for help. Like, you got to be willing to do something to add value to say, yo, like, this is why you should, rock with me and help me. Like, you know what I'm saying? There was not one rich person that came to Terrica and said, here is $10,000. Go get your life together. Nobody did that for me. And I appreciate that nobody did. I appreciate that nobody did. So I don't have no type of remorse, in fact, I tell all my students, get ready for the grieving process. You about to lose a lot of people. When you get to this level of success, you're going to lose a lot of people. They ain't going to invite you to parties no more. The family cookouts, you not invited. They got gatherings by grandma's house. You ain't invited. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, get ready to grieve.
But how do you prepare for that, though? And honestly, you went through that, so you can tell somebody to get ready to grieve because you've been through that. But honestly, like, you still human. Like, how did that make you feel? Like, how was you able to get out of that?
I'm street strong. Like, you know what I'm saying? When I look back and be like, yo, so do I want to worry about them not rocking with me or do I want to be poor? Like, do I want to not have no more money? Do I want to have to go to the bank and ask them to reverse my NSF fees? Like, I got to pick a side. Like, you know what I'm saying? If my success intimidates them, they can't be around me. My success intimidates people, and it should. But it should also motivate you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I always tell people, I'm going to intimidate a lot of y'all, and I'm going to inspire a lot. You just going to have to pick a side. I don't got no in between.
This is hard. I love it. All right, so curious. It's not off topic, but I'm just curious. A woman, a black woman that's so successful like yourself, right? You married. Do you find it hard to be submissive, or do you even believe in that?
Oh, absolutely. I believe in it. My husband, I yield to him. I bow to him. My husband, and I think the problem is a lot of men don't have security and are confident in themselves. And, It makes it sometimes challenging for women to be submissive, because submissive don't mean shut up, be quiet, go cook and clean. That's not what submissive is, right? Submissive to me is yielding to my husband's opinion and to what my husband is saying and what my husband requires of me as a wife. So when I'm around my husband, like in the streets, I'm alpha. He knows that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm in the male's industry. Okay, I'm in a room where I got to kick the freaking door in and be like, I'm in here. I don't care what none of y'all saying. I got to go in there. I got to prepare 3 times more for a planning and development meeting than what the men have to do. Because they already have this seat. You get what I'm saying? I have to go and take a seat. So when I get home, I don't want to be that woman at home. Like, I don't have to go take a seat at my house. My husband pull out a chair for me and say, baby, I'm happy. You home. You know what I'm saying? My husband loves me with all of my love languages, and I love him with all of his love languages. So it's so easy for me to submit to him because he make it easy to love him.
Was that something that he was already doing, or did he have to learn that? Like, did he have to learn how to love you through your love languages?
Yes, he did. My love language is acts of service. His love language is quality time and physical touch. So I'm not really a physical touch person because a child of abuse is normally not, right? But I knew that was important for my husband to feel love. So I submitted to that feeling because I need him to know how much I love him. That's how important he is to me.
Damn.
So I gave in to that.
That's fire. Okay, so question, was you in the beginning or was you making more money than him from the jump?
He used to work 2 to 3 jobs so I can do exactly what I'm doing now. And now I retired him. He don't have to work ever again in his life.
That's hard. Okay. Damn, because I'm just curious because usually the money will make it hard to be soft. The money will make it hard to submit. It's like, bro,
we was poor together.
Damn.
Let's pour together. So, I mean.
So y'all don't deal with no, because even still, some type of insecurities could come when, like, I guess you said you retired him. It's no feelings of, like, she make more than me and, like, hurt my feelings. I'm not being a man.
But he a man. He a man. All man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody was there whenever he was working 3 jobs. You know what I'm saying? Nobody was there when he had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go to offshore jobs. Nobody was there when he had to go to Walmart and unload those boxes. Nobody was there when he would hop on the FedEx truck and go deliver. Nobody was there for that. You know what I'm saying? So I think the biggest thing for us is we have silenced everybody out of our marriage. And we, like, our marriage, 18 years, right? So we just left Houston. We went on a date in Houston, and we just enjoyed each other. And we don't have what you call it, like my husband don't feel like, oh, she the breadwinner. It's ours. It's ours. He's the beneficiary on all my stuff. I love that man with all my heart and soul. If I die, it is his. If he dies, it's all mine. Like, you get what I'm saying? So, but the beautiful thing about that is we was poor together. So there's a difference. Like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't go and get with somebody that didn't have none and I had everything. Like, it probably would be a little bit different. But because I seen this man go turn my water back on whenever the city turned it off.
All right, so since we're here, I just want to have a little fun. Like, hold up. So I interviewed 2 young ladies, right? And since you're an entrepreneur, you get into the bag. You busy, right? Let me find this video. So I interviewed these 2 young ladies, and we were talking about this 9 to 5 thing. So this has been like it's old now, but it was a big conversation about 9 to 5 versus entrepreneurs. And the conversation went something like, she can't date a guy with a job or 9 to 5 because he won't be able to take her on trips whenever he wants. And I'm curious. You've been an entrepreneur. Can you just do whatever you want when you want to do it? You can?
Yeah. But I'm not an entrepreneur either. Like, I don't really use that word.
You don't?
Nah. But I would say, I mean, if that's what her requirements are, I respect that. That's her requirements, Me and my husband about to go spend a few weeks in Venice. I don't need no permission. He don't need no permission. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So you don't, subscribe to an entrepreneur, but I feel like even an entrepreneur can't really do that unless you're a high level. Like you're high level. Like come on, like your average entrepreneur can't stop for 2 weeks. Or is that wrong? Is that not true?
So I think people make time for what's important for them. I make time for my husband because it's important for me. You know, I make time to be a mom because it's important. I make time for ministry because it's important. I make time, for this internet stuff.
Facts. I swear I be calling the same thing to this day, and I do interviews. Like, I swear.
But I mean, I think that, there was a season though, Jay, where, like I said, my head was down. That was a grind season. Like it wasn't no season to be going to spend money we didn't have. Everything that we got back in, I kept putting in. That's why I got 9 figures. It's not because every time we got it, I went and was like, yay, look at me, look at me. I could have been bought Bentleys. I could have been bought Ferraris. I could have been bought Lambos. But that wasn't what was for me or my husband. Right. So now when we look at it, right, we make $250,000 passive a month. And that's not to stun on nobody. That's to let you know if somebody poor from New Orleans that was under a bridge with her child can come from nothing to where I'm at today, anybody can. You know what I'm saying? So when you make money passively, you can do that. That's why I'm not really like an entrepreneur, because I feel like entrepreneurs are actively
working for that money.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? But I do think, like I said, there was a season where, we were plowing, like people be trying to get their harvest before it even, you know what I'm saying? It's not time. You got to plow. And so I think,
trying to get that corn out the field before it even grow.
That's right. And I think crazy. That,
you get sick. You got to wait till it's ripe.
That's right. You're still going to be hungry. That's what's going to happen. You're still going to be hungry, right?
So curious, and this is some real shit. Fuck, we being vulnerable. This is a vulnerable conversation. When you come from nothing and you get a little bit of something, I feel like it's almost human nature to want to treat yourself because I'm not used to it. I want to get this design. I want to look good because I ain't never had it before. But learning now that be the same thing that hold us back. How do we get out of that mentality? 1 and 2. Do you think that we at least have to go through it once? Because I have a couple opinions about that, but I'm curious.
I think a great book to read is A Millionaire Next Door for you. Like, please read that ASAP.
I'm going to check it out.
Okay. But I would say this, I create wealth, right? I can also wear wealth. So for me, I have assets that outperform all of my liabilities. So I just have assets over assets over assets. I think when you get to that point, you can do whatever you want. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think so many people want instant gratification that, they trade it in for the delayed. And to me, delayed gratification is way better because now I have on Gucci shoes. I can buy 1,000 of these and not even blink. Some people can buy one time. And then, you know what I'm saying? Entrepreneur. I got to go back and get it. I got to keep up with everybody.
But did you have to learn that, though? Did you have to, was it a point?
I did, yes.
That's why I'm curious. Because
yes. But I never been flashy in a sense of happening. Like, I've always been hoodie, tee, and, like, I've always been that. So, like, if I dress up, I'll dress up in Gucci, Chanel, Fendi, Prada. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I got taste. But most of the time.
No, facts.
I'm this.
No, I've learned that, this is my experience. I had to understand it was so important for me to get it and lose it because I know how important it is to get it and keep it, right? That delayed gratification, like you said. But I think if I never went through that phase of, blowing it, I never understood what that was. Like I never even wore it. I never had it. I never had it to get. So now when I got it and I spent it, it was like, where did everything go?
Yeah. So I don't curse. So it's kind of like, but when I hear that, it's like, you remember that song? It's probably a New Orleans song, but it'd be like acting like they ain't never had.
Because you don't curse is probably hard for me to understand.
Yeah. Acting like an N-word that ain't never had.
Shit, like a nigga. Yes. I know. I don't know. I can't.
But that's what happens whenever you get a whole lot of money. It's like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. Right. Well, for me, I never had that type of mindset or mentality. So I would say it's hard for me to judge that, but I know for me, because of how I am, it wasn't hard.
Okay, that makes sense. Yo, it's crazy because like you know how that made me remind me. We about to get out of here. It made me remind me when people say act like you've been here before.
Mm-hmm.
That's super important.
That's so good. I never heard that, but that
You
is
never
so
heard
good.
that?
No, I never heard that, but that's really
It's
good.
because it's like bro, act like when something happened. Don't be too excited that you. It's kind of like you showing your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Now people know that this is new for you, bro.
Mhm.
Play it cool, bro. Like
Mhm.
act like this is the normal for you,
Mhm.
even if it's not.
Right.
I think it's so much into that. But y'all, this was a great conversation.
Yes.
I ain't gonna hold you too long. Bro, this is fire. You welcome
Yes.
anytime you want to pull
Oh,
up.
thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that.
Nah, no
Thank you for
problem.
having me.
Nah, anytime. Let people know how to follow you, how to support you, what you got going on, if they can
Yeah.
support you, all that.
Yeah. So, Terrica Lynn Smith on all platforms. So you can go follow me on all platforms. And then, if this luncheon time for the challenge, you can go to thepropertychallenge.com and sign up.
Yo, can we give some people? Can we give one person something?
Yeah.
Come on,
absolutely.
all
right.
Come on.
So
Bless the platform.
All right, so I'm gonna bless. All right, so I don't know how you want to give it away, but what I'm gonna do is I'll give you one of my board games, my real estate board games that I created,
Okay.
and you give it out to one of your audience and however you want to do it.
Okay.
However you want to do it.
I'm gonna give it to a black woman. That's what I want to do.
All right, well
Black
let's go.
woman with a child. Is that too much? That's too much.
Nah,
'Cause
that's
it's something
good.
similar
It's
to
a
your story.
developer's board game, so it teaches you how I got started in real estate,
Mm.
and it's a good board game.
Okay, so this game can help somebody get money.
Yeah, it teaches you development.
Terrica Lynn Smith, Mr. J Hill Podcast. Hey man, it don't get no realer than this.
Yay!
That was great. I appreciate it.
Thank
Give me the
you.
board game. I'm gonna make sure we'll figure it out. I don't know. Repost this, tag us both. And I'm gonna choose a random person that posted. So you had to watch it to the end to understand it. So
Yeah, that's
hey,
it.
the lucky
That's it.
person gonna win. I appreciate you.
Yes, thank you, Jay.